everybody, and welcome to coverage of the 2025 ACC Fall Classic here on AAU Plus, presented by Georgia Tech Hockey. I'm Sterling Caligeris, and here with me today is one of the Yellow Jackets, Daniel Shu, making his broadcast debut. Daniel, how are you doing here?
Doing great. Excited to finally join the podcast. Kind of been excited for this.
Well, I'm very happy to have you. Georgia Tech taking on George Washington here today. In day number 1 of the tournament, Georgia Tech took down Princeton in a 10-4 victory. We saw some key performances from Tech's top line. Sawyer Howe walked away with 5 goals on the night. And for George Washington, they took down their team in Duke, a 14-2 final. We had some impressive performances from the Revolutionaries themselves. Watch out for Riley Persimone with 4 goals, 1 assist, and 5 points yesterday. He has 23 points on the season thus far. For Georgia Tech, Sawyer Howe with 21 in 11 games played. We've got warm-ups wrapping up here in just a bit. But for Georgia Tech, this is their first season in ACC hockey. Daniel, first game Tech ever played at the ACC Fall Classic yesterday. What was it like for you to be out there at this amazing facility and just enjoying the time?
Yeah, that was great. As you said, an amazing facility. Big difference from the Atlanta Ice Storm, I can tell you that. But it's an amazing environment. We got so many teams here. Yeah, just great.
We do love our home rink in the Ice Forum, but St. James, you can't go wrong. A beautiful modern facility. As we talked about a little yesterday, 2 sheets here with no physical separation in between the rings. And so if you hear during this broadcast a random whistle or buzzer here or there, could just be from the game behind us, and we'll let you know if that's the case. But for Georgia Tech, in between the pipes here tonight, Tech has 1 goalie on the roster in Ryan Graff. He's played 13 games thus far, has a .400 goals against average with an .899 save percentage for a 6-6-1 record. He's actually from the area out of Potomac, Maryland, played for Walt Whitman High School in Bethesda last year. Looks like on the other side for George Washington is Sage Yoke. He's played in 5 games so far this year, .589 goals against average, .846 save percentage out of Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. Puck has been dropped at center ice, and here we go for Game 2 of the ACC Fall Classic for these 2 teams. There's a shot, gets deflected out of play early, and so we'll have a face-off to the left of Yoke. Georgia Tech in the gold jerseys, moving left to right on your screen. George Washington in the navy, right to left. Tech tries to hold this one in, but a 2-on-1 for GW. They move it across, back door, and they score! Just 22 seconds in, GWU on the board with a backdoor goal from Ethan Redden. And what a start for the Revolutionaries. Beautiful execution of the 2-on-1, as you can see. What a feed, and no mistake there for the captain of the Revolutionaries. 1-0 early in this one for GW. Tech played last night at the 10 p.m. slot against Princeton, and so a pretty quick turnaround here. Let's see if they're able to find their legs a little bit and respond after the early goal against. It's the first shot on goal of the night for the Revolutionaries, and they also lead 1-0. Face-off coming up to the right of Ryan Graff here. Here's a shot, goes wide, and it's Keegan Goodell for the Jackets. Looking to move it ahead, broken up there by Joe Hecht. They get it in deep, and first one to it is Nevin McNamara. They look to rim it around the wall. Keeping it in the zone for Tech is Levi Miller, and around it goes towards Zach Keschner. Keschner gets to it, looks to work it towards the net, hops over the side of the goal, and Riley Piersimone gets it out. Could have been another rush for the Revolutionaries. Instead, it's Keschner here. He draws a penalty right circle, and a big opportunity for Tech to answer just a minute and a half into this one. So let's see what the Jackets able to do here on this man advantage. Cullen Dorcas takes the draw for Tech and wins it. So it's McLean Boyd at the right point. Golick across it goes to Sawyer Howe, who had 5 goals yesterday. Top of the zone with Boyd here. Gets a right side Dorcas, a cross-side feed, and Howe snapped his stick on the one-timer attempt. He goes to retrieve a new one. Now Dorcas chance and a block in front. Great block for Asher Fades. At the far flank, they drop it to the line with Boyd as he surveys here. Right point to Howe, now gets it back to Boyd. Now Dorcas at the half wall, gets it back to Boyd through traffic. It's blocked, and a clearing effort is going to work out for Tom Marapodi. They look to catch George Washington in a change, but GW gets it right back and sends it down 200 feet. Sawyer Howe behind his own net here. Has Boyd to his right. Works around Ryan Janechill and skates with it into the offensive zone. At the goal line, they get it to the right point here. At Sawyer Howe along the half wall, gets it right back. Across for Boyd, left side, and now top of the zone. Howe over Dorcas right circle. His shot goes wide as Howe's going to chase after that one as it pops into neutral ice. Connects with Dorcas, and now Golick will drop it back to Dorcas here. Again, we talked about Howe earlier, but this Georgia Tech top line comprised of Dorcas, Howe, Golick. Here's a beautiful chance for Molnar, blocked in front as Colin Dorcas will get it back at the left point. Little sauce over to Howe as he slows things down, looks for a lane. Poke there, and that's going to conclude the Georgia Tech power play. Jackets 0 for 1 on the man advantage tonight. In the slot, this one towards the net, and Yoke can tend to pounce on it and get the whistle. Daniel, what do you make of this start for both of these teams?
Yeah, obviously a bad break in the beginning for Georgia Tech. Quick play by GW to get the first goal, but I thought they had Georgia Tech had some good pressure on the power play. Looking to keep it up over here.
Yeah, for sure. I see we have a little bit of technical difficulty going on. Please bear with us as we try to get that figured out. But for now, 1-1 in the shots on goal, but George Washington, the only ones on the score sheet. Moving this play ahead is Dennis Smekov here. Goes to the backhand. His shot went just wide. And watch out for him. Had 5 goals, 1 assist, and 6 points yesterday in the game against Duke. Draw coming up to the left of Ryan Graff. It's won by Tech and around the end wall. Zach Keschner, this one broken up at center ice, and a backhand feed from the captain Ethan Redden, who got on the board for GW early. This is Roy. One touch feed there towards Keegan Goodell, one back by Redden, and now Zach Kushner on it for the Jackets. Broken down at center ice by Smekov, 2-on-1 for Tech. Goodell looking back door, and a great effort, reading it well from Asher Fades. Across it goes, Braden King from the line. His shot goes wide as Kushner looks to corral it for GT. A one-timer, great pad stop on Yoko and Degli Umberto. King behind the net here. Looks to reverse, but broken up by Kieran Laffey. And here go the Revolutionaries the other way. They're content to just get it into the offensive zone with Redden. As Tech able to get it clear all the way down the ice from their own zone. I think the goaltender Yoke wanted an icing there. I was a bit confused as well, but no icing on that one, and so it's Miller to Connolly. Here's a big chance in the slot. They look to put it on net. Not a clean shot, and Graf is able to pounce on the trickling puck towards the net. .49 to go in the first period. Draw coming up to Graf's right. They'll slide it across. Here's a deflection. Graf holds on to this one as well, and so same situation coming up. Perhaps from the other face-off circle. Tuck looks to break it out with Colin Dorcas here. Has a man to his left. There's a shot stopped by Yoke. A little tricky of a save, but he's able to get it covered. We'll take a look at that one again. A little play off the draw. Dorcas brought it himself. Always a good idea to test the goaltender. But passing the test that time was Sage Yoke. GW comes away with this puck. And that is Maripodi getting it in deep. Levi Miller for Tech. Looking to pick it up is Tara Ginkinger. Justin Yu and Greg Steckel there for Tech at the line. Here's a shot. Pad save made by Graf. And looking to break it out is Steckel for Tech. One back for the Revolutionaries by Thomas Banaka. Now on the stick of Justin Yu and Levi Miller. Justin Yu wearing number 17 here tonight, or today, excuse me. Usual number of Matt Shane on the Jackets. As Yu's usually 26, he had 2 goals in Tech's recent weekend matchup against the Citadel for his first 2 collegiate goals. Colin Chambliss there digging for it with Eli Rubin for the Jackets. Sawyer Von Jess for the Revolutionaries. Around it goes to Nevin McNamara, and he'll flip it into neutral ice. That's McLean Boyd. Back for Joshua Lee. Tap forwards by Rubin as he tries to skate with it. Colin Chambliss breaks it up, and Revolutionaries back on it with Von Jets. The cross ice feed connects. Could be a good look for the Revolutionaries, but it's Joshua Lee as he looks to show off the speed. Instead gets it in deep with Sawyer Von Jets. Good pressure there from Andy Hildrum for the Jackets. Off the wall, that's McLean Boyd. Little 2-on-1 battle here. Joshua Lee will drop it off, and he'll pick it up himself. Right circle, and a stop made by Yoke. Shots on goal here read for a piece. As you just saw there, a good look from Lee. But Yoke so far 4 for 4. That's how redirection in front as he had Golick at the crease. Tried to pull the trigger on the backhand, but could not. A good look nevertheless. And it's Asher Fabes back on it for GW. Dennis Smekov here. Opportunity in the slot as he looked to work around his man Joshua Lee. This is Golick trying to lead the attack for the Jackets towards Cullen Dorcas. This one in control of Asher Fabes, but the play was blown dead. I wasn't really looking at what was happening. Did you notice what happened there, Daniel?
Oh, I have no idea what play ended.
Well, the play's coming back all the way to Tech's own end. So, interesting situation developing here. But a draw to the right of Ryan Graff, won by Cullen Dorcas. That's Lee as there's a hit from Pierre Simone. They look to get it back to him, but instead Lee for Tech reverses it around the wall to McLean Boyd. Nice deke around Joe Hecht, and they'll work it ahead with Jack Golick. Top of the left circle, there's a nice deke, but GW read it well. And all the way down 200 feet, Aiden Roy's gonna collect, but this one is blown to be an icing. Draw coming up to the right here of Yoke. As it's Cullen Dorcas left circle, drops it to the goal line. Golick tried to force it in near post for him. Sawyer Howe back in control. That's Aiden Roy towards the net, banks off a skate. GW looking to move it the other way with Kieran Laffey, and now a nice deke from Pierre Simone. Laffey will get it back as he's at the goal line. Pierre Simone's backhand rebound in front. Graff held the post, and a nice save for number 30. Howe works it to Dorcas here, one-on-one situation. Looks to cut to the net, lost control of the puck as he moves it to Golick. Andrew Zhang there, works it to the goal line with Dorcas, broken up by Thomas Banaka. And all the way down the ice it goes. Aiden Roy will get to it. Icing coming up on the Revolutionary. Again, sorry everybody about the difficulties if the stream's popping in and out. We'll have plenty of time to look at it during the intermission. Miller's shot blocked in front. Greg Steckel, and a glove save made there by Yoke. And so that one will even the shots up at 6. But once again, 22 seconds into the game, it was Ethan Redden able to cash in on a 2-on-1. He had 15 points in 9 games played thus far for his 9th goal of the season. Here's a backhander from Degliamberto that goes wide. Keegan Goodell drops it to the point with Miller. He scores! Levi Miller just put the puck on net. He beats Yoke left side, and we're tied at 1.
Yeah, close it up to Rockville. Let's go.
You can maybe hear it in my voice there. That was a bit of a surprising one. Just getting the puck on goal, beating Yoke on the glove side. Again, no shots, a bad shot. And just like that, we're tied at 1. Degliamberto looking to make it Tech's first lead of the game. Zach Keschner will backhand it towards the slot. Again, shots on goal 7-6 in favor of Tech. This pass read well there by Levi Miller, who just scored the goal for GT. Again, we mentioned on last night's broadcast, he is one of the Jackets from the area, as he is from Bethesda, Maryland. Had 2 goals in 2 games played against the Citadel. This one makes it his 5th goal in the 12th game of the defenseman. This one, big chance and a good stop on Yoke on Connolly. One of the Jackets able to find the score sheet last night against Princeton. Joshua Lee, nice deke around his man Piersimoni. As Piersimoni has it back for GW, looking to drive the net. His shot went wide there. Now putting it back towards the net zone was Tangeretti. This one delayed offside for GW. Lee connects with Connolly, but overstated that pass. This one too far for Piersimoni, and so Ethan Molnar back to retrieve it. Molnar will lead the rush as he's got it at central ice. Walks to the right circle here. Drags it to his backhand behind the net, looking to center. It's Joshua Lee with the shot, went just wide as it was deflected in front. Molnar tries to win it back with Connolly. This one in the skates of Connolly at the left point, it's Boyd. Shot looking for a tip in front. Lee puts it back on goal. His one went just wide. And picking it up is Jacob Bergerman. GW at the St. James logo. The shot there gets blocked from Robert Rich. Behind Tech's own goal line, Connolly battling with Dinkinger. Picked up by Boyd, has you to his right, elects to drop it off to him. Flip back towards the net, that one off the glove of Lee. He'll corral it himself and look to move the play ahead. GW just keeping that puck in their offensive zone as there's some good pressure and a chance from Smekov. The backhand kick save made by Graf, a nice reactionary stop. Across it goes to Prasanna, this one into the George Washington bench. And so a face-off coming up with 7:02 left in the first period. Any general thoughts halfway through the first, Daniel?
Not really.
All good, all good. It's been a little bit of a back and forth game.
Yeah.
Again, fun start for GW. Tech had a power play shortly after that. These two teams just trading chances right now. Pretty even shots on goal as they're listed 8-6 here at the rink. At the goal line, this one is Dennis Smekov as he works around Chambliss, elects to dish it to his captain, Redden. There goes Ethan Redden, crossing the blue, takes a shot, glove save from Graf as he's able to get it to Braden King. This pass intercepted by Redden here as he's got a lane down the near wing. Redden, little toe drag as he pulls it to himself. Center's no one really there. A pinch and back the other way goes Dorcas as he had one man to beat. Stays with it, curls up at the left point. Jack Golick with room. Little deep right circle, lost the handle, but still in control of GT. Zhang shot deflected wide. Here's Braden King. Around the end wall, ends up with Zhang. Looks to put it on net. Couldn't get the shot away. Now he does. That one easily sticked aside by Yoke. Howe works it to Dorcas, drags it to the backhand, a centering feed. Dorcas will pick it up and get it to Zhang. Looking Steckles one-timer, nothing doing, and so Sawyer Howe will leave it, take it himself. A backhand feed over to Zhang right side. Zhang's pass intercepted, and moving it the other way is Riley Piersimoni as he shows off the wheels. Piersimoni's backhand just sailed high over the net of Graf, and so George Washington getting something going with Sawyer Von Jess. A D-to-D feed here as they work it ahead. That's a backhand from the alternate captain, Piersimoni. Now Jack Golick regrouping for Tech. That's Sawyer Howe. Advancing it to Colin Dorcas. Von Jess back on it. Banks it off the wall here. And connecting with Piersimoni. Right point. That one easily gobbled up by Ryan Graff as there was no traffic in front. And so a face-off coming up to his left. You could see George Washington content to do the same thing as what I was talking about earlier, just testing the GT goaltender there. And he was equal to the task that time. Keschner ahead towards Goodell, one back by Redden, as that was Smikov leading it to him. There's a dangerous pass and picking it off is Goodell. A little give and go with Keschner. One back momentarily for the Jackets, and it will be Greg Steckel first on it. Broken up there as that was Kieran Laffey towards the net of Graff. He moves it to his defenseman Levi Miller, and around it goes to Steckel. Keschner there trying to get control for GT. And that could have been a good opportunity for Miller joining the rush, but it's Asher Fabes. Around the wall, Keschner to the goal line. He'll get it right back. And a centering feed right out in front. They try to pull the trigger. Keschner tries to wrap it around. Scored a goal just like that against MTSU all the way back in the fall last year. A wraparound goal for number 18. And then actually followed it up in a kind of similar fashion against Ole Miss the week after, as he took it behind the net and took a tight angle shot once he came around. 3:45 to go in the first period. McLean Boyd stepping in, his shot goes wide, and it's Joshua Lee. Takes a shot, deflected, steered aside by Yoke with the right pad. And that's Nick Tandrighetti into neutral ice with Joshua Lee. McLean Boyd back on it for the Jackets as F1 is Jacob Bergerman. This one tapped forwards and getting first to it, Nick Tangretti. Ethan Molnar comes away with this one, looks to drive to the net and put it in front. GW able to get it out, using the wall to advance it ahead. The Revolutionaries get a line change, and it's Justin Yu re-entering. Flips it into the far corner. Sean Connolly there, and now Yu. In the skates of Connolly, picked up by Piersimoni. This one in control of, Tally Jervis. Now Joshua Lee. Picked up by McNamara here. At center ice, they'll tap it in deep. McLean Boyd on it with 2:30 to go. Good pressure from Piersimoni. Looks for a centering feed. Has his man in Tangretti in front. Piersimoni's shot blocked in front by Boyd, I believe. But still in control with Redden. Pass picked off by Jack Golick. Connects with Colin Dorcas. 2-on-2 for Tech. On the backhand left circle. Puts it on goal. A blocker save. That one banked in the net, but waved off immediately. And so we remain 1-1 with 2:03 to go. Shots listed 12-8. 2:03 left in the first period. And we'll see what we could do about some of the connection stuff when this first period ends. Golick takes a big hit at the St. James logo, and it's Dennis Smikov back on it now. Golick across the ice to Colin Dorcas, looks to drop it off to Sawyer Howe. To the goal line with Dorcas, has his man in Roy, takes a shot through traffic looking for the tip just wide. They'll outlet it to Dennis Smikov here, has Redden joining him. Deeks around his man, stays in control. Graff pokes that centering feed, and Golick back on it. Could be a 2-on-1 with Howe. Golick has Howe driving, look to connect with him. A good stick in the lane. in the passing lane to break that one up. Aiden Roy moves it. Jorkis with space. There's a shot and a blocker save made by Yo. Sawyer Howe to the goal line. Jorkis has Golick in front. Plays it near side. Cuts back. Drops it off to Golick as he looks for a feed to the line. Broken up by Redden. And across it's going to go. Dennis Smekov, nice deke. Smekov staying with it, takes a shot and a glove save made and held by Ryan Graff. Got Tech not really happy with some of the GW players. I went to queue up the replay after the play was over, but did you see what was developing out there?
Not much. Just Sawyer Howe gave the GW player a shove after the play. Didn't seem too happy with him.
Looks like he ends up in the box as a result. Sawyer Howe again coming in tonight with 21 points in 11 games played. But sometimes he can make some visits to the penalty box as he's there right now to end the first period. We got 30 seconds left as it's Ethan Redden gaining entry. Redden gonna cut it back as he looks to the line there with Bergerman. Bergerman on the backhand gets it over, and now Pierre-Simone. Near side, tried to wrap it around on the backhand. Keegan Goodell goes down as one tech clear would end the period. Final 5 seconds at the line. There's a shot through traffic. They try to put it in. Can't do it. And that'll end the first period of play. Georgia Tech and George Washington evened up at 1 after 1. We'll try to get that situation figured out for the second period. For now, we'll step aside and see you for the middle 20. Hi everyone, welcome to the second period between Georgia Tech and George Washington. I think we have significant improvement over the first period of our internet connection, but I'll be monitoring it to make sure. It seems like maybe it's freezing a tiny bit, but we'll see what happens with that. For now, Georgia Tech and George Washington evened up at 1. GW found the back of the net just 22 seconds into the first period. It was their captain, Ethan Reddy, capitalizing on a 2-on-1 early goal for the Revolutionaries. Then for Georgia Tech, Levi Miller just taking a shot from the left point, stepped into it. The wrister found the back of the net, beating Yoke, and so that's how we get to a 1-1 score after 1. For now, the second period starts with the GW power play, a minute 15 left on it as Sawyer Howe in the box. Tech gets a clear all the way down the ice and forces Reddy to regroup. Reddy behind his own net of Yoke as he looks to start the breakout. Dishes it to his winger here in Kieran Laffey, rims it around the wall, and getting to it is Dennis Smekov. At the line, Reddy, across it goes here. Laffey back for Reddy, now Smekov down low, was looking for a pass in front. Here's Pierre-Simone. Top of the slot, gets it to the goal line, plays it back door. There's a feed in front, the puck available in the crease, and Graf has it covered. Nice puck movement on this power play. What do you make of it, Daniel?
Yeah, very good puck movement. This Tech penalty kill has been very successful this year. Very good at protecting the middle and getting possession, as we see right here.
There's a clear into the protective netting. Now that one was cleared out from their own end, out of play. Is that delay of game in the NHL?
Not sure. I think it has to go out the side, but
luckily for us, we're not in the NHL right now. Here's a shorthanded bid. AJ Degliumberto on Jokic scores! The captain for Tech gets it done with a shorthanded finish. The Jackets lead it for the first time today. What a breakaway there. Degliumberto knew what he wanted to do all along, took that shot, beats Yoke through the 5-hole, and what a clutch goal for the Yellow Jackets, giving them their first lead of the game. It's their 14th shot on goal compared to George Washington's 11th. Power play has expired here as Sawyer Howe exits the box. Yoke will leave it to his defenseman, Nick Tangretti, as he works around Cullen Dorcas, was looking there for Thomas Banaka. Banaka gets to it as there's some pressure from Howe. Levi Miller at neutral ice has Steckel to his right and dishes it to him. He'll dump it in, forces Yoke to play that puck, and around the wall it goes to Tangretti. Tangretti drops it off to Banaka here, as GW looking to get it out from their own end, but holding the line was Greg Steckel. So Tangretti back on it, rims it around the wall. Miller gets to it, as Jack Golick was there, but it got by him. There's some pressure from Tarek Dinkinger, as Golick comes away with it and gets it to Colin Dorcas. Here he goes crossing the red line, now blue. Top of the right circle, drops it off Howe's one-timer, deflected out of play. Good luck there for number 87. Talked about it at length already, but 5 goals, impressive performance against Princeton yesterday in what would become a 10-4 GT victory. Let's see if the Revolutionaries can get it out from their own end. There's some pressure, but it's going to be Pierre-Simone advancing it to Jervis. Braden King at the blue line, flings it to the net. This one sticked aside by Yoke. And that's Dorcas in the slot. Coming away with it here is Piersimoni. Enters the zone, left side, has a lane, will drive to the net. Graf shuts him down, the puck in front. That was the most soccer kicking motion I might have seen in the ACHA so far. No goal, both teams get a goal waved off. I mean, I think he was battling there. I think he realized maybe he wasn't gonna win that one, but still wanted to get it in. Have some fun. My goodness.
Yeah. Kind of had his arms tied up, looked down, and decided to give it a kick.
Hey, and I didn't catch who was battling with him, but really nice work to tie the stick up and force that kicking motion. Connolly looking to Molnar, gets it at the goal line. That one played towards the net as they try to jam it on goal with you. So they advance that puck to Ethan Redden, right side. Looks tight, angle shot, he scores! Second of the night for GW's captain, and the Revolutionaries tie it at 2. How about that shot, Daniel? My goodness.
Beautiful shot, almost an impossible angle. He was basically at the goal line.
What?
Don't know how that one snuck in.
Yeah, no. I mean, great shot there to get it by Graf. Absolutely clutch marker for both captains here in this second period. Let's see if Tech's able to respond with Joshua Lee. They'll flip it into the St. James logo. And skating away with this puck is Jacob Bergerman. Picking it up, here is Ginkinger, and they get it to the goal line. Joshua Lee, good pinch there from Ginkinger. And Lee will come away with it to Justin Yu. Yu ahead for Sean Connolly. Molnar couldn't corral it. And GW back on it with Nevin McNamara. Connolly advanced it ahead. Back in control of the Revolutionaries, and now Ethan Molnar. Nice little dekes. Can't get it to you though, and it's Tally Jervis back on it. Jervis, little deke, will pinball that one forward. Shot blocked in front. They look to connect backdoor with Connolly, cannot, as this one is sticked into the corner by Yoke. So GW going for a skate here. As the man in Jervis went down, Jervis moves it ahead to Ginkinger and taps it into that far corner. Boyd, this one just a bit too far for Piersimoni, and so Boyd will get it back to Connolly. There's a huge hit on Connolly there. As they look to work it to Piersimoni, that one is going to be called boarding, and so a Georgia Tech power play coming up as the Jackets look to get the lead once more. We just saw Georgia Tech capitalize on a special team situation, but that was a George Washington power play. They'll be going up 5-on-4 themselves now, as it was Sawyer Von Jess with the boarding call. Cullen Dorcas set to take this draw for the Jackets. His counterpart, Kieran Laffey, for the Revolutionary. An early clear forces Graf to leave it with McLean Boyd. Good pressure shorthanded here from the captain, Ethan Redden. Dorcas connects with Howe, as that's Sawyer Howe. Looks for Cullen Dorcas and gets it back with Boyd. Taps it to Ethan Molnar here. Back in control of Boyd. Has Dorcas to his right. Drops it off to Boyd here at the right point. Has an option in Howe and finds him. Sawyer Howe creeping in. Gets it to Boyd, but hopped over his stick and he'll be forced to regroup. Sawyer Howe crosses the red, has Dorcas to his right. Howe thought about a shot. Now he'll take one and a stop by Yoke. He gets his own rebound and dishes it to Boyd. Across it goes through the seam. This is Howe as he's at the near flank. Drops it to the line with Boyd through traffic, sticked aside by Yoke as McLean Boyd had a power play goal against the Citadel in game number 2. Just creeping in, getting a puck on net on the power play through traffic. Tried to do the exact same thing there. Yoke able to make the stop. They look for the home run pass with Colin Dorcas, hopped over his stick, but first one to it is Jack Golick negating the icing. Pulls it to himself, drops it off to Howe in a couple skates. A clearing attempt there from Tangretti, but it's Levi Miller in deep. The defenseman looking to his partner in Joshua Lee, lets one go and a stick save made by Yoke. Dorcas gonna keep it in with his right skate. At the goal line, looks for the centering pass, broken up by Pierce-Simone as he'll go for a shorthanded rush to end the power play. Pierce-Simone looking to drive the net, couldn't get the shot away. A great look as we skate 5 aside. 19-13 your shots on goal here in this one thus far. Tech looking to regroup with Joshua Lee. This one goes all the way down the ice. Colin Dorcas applying the pressure on Nevin McNamara. Levi Miller there for Tech as it's Keschner. This one flipped down the ice and gonna be picked up by Joshua Lee. Robert Rich is F1 and it's Levi Miller for the Jackets with Zach Keschner and now Colin Dorcas. Looking to connect with Keegan Goodell. One-on-one battle. He'll power his way to the net. And a great pad stop made by Yoke. Tech looking for more with Goodell here. They work it to the line and it's Joshua Lee. Lee lets one go. Deflection off the side of the net. Tagliamberto, a great save made there. Block in front. Levi Miller lets one go. Blocked in front. Tagliamberto battling for that puck. They get it back to Lee, lets a shot go, big rebound, scores! Zach Keschner cleans it up and gives Georgia Tech the lead again.
Nice job, let's go.
I said on one of our broadcasts last weekend, it's becoming a theme of mine this season to say, just put the puck on net, you never know what might happen. And there you saw, maybe it gets blocked in front, but your teammate in Keschner is there to deposit at home. Georgia Tech re-grabs the lead. It's 3-2 Yellow Jacket. And with just about 10 minutes left in the second period, just about halfway through the game. How are you enjoying it, Daniel?
It's been a great game. I think GW is very good at protecting the middle in their D zone. And I think Georgia Tech has been doing better at trying to get more point shots. That resulted in a goal for Levi Miller in the first period. And a goal here for Zachary Keschner after a rebound from Joshua Lee.
Yes, for sure. It's been an entertaining one. We're glad to have you with us. Thank you for bearing with us with our technical difficulties. 10:50 to go in the middle frame. We'll see now what GW is able to do. It's their turn to answer. Looks like this play is blown dead as there's perhaps a penalty coming up, I believe, on Eli Rubin. Looks like they're getting him with a cross check. So 10:43 to go, and there's your opportunity for GW to get the game tying goal. Georgia Tech's second of the night, or day once again, came from Tagliamberto, short-handed. So let's see what's gonna happen here. In the skates of Zhang, Here's an opportunity in tight, looking to load up a shot. It went just wide. Now at the right point, they'll work atop the left circle with Kieran Laffey. Across for Reddy, gets it back. Down low, beautiful feed to Smikov, but didn't connect. And a clear all the way down the ice, forces Yoke to play that puck. Sage Yoke will leave it to his man. And so here goes GW with Pierce Simone leading the rush. At the right circle, looks to power his way to the goal. Drops it off left point, a little give and go. Here's Simone, drops it back off to Laffey here. Top of the circle, looking for the Pierce Simone one-timer. Here's Simone, takes a shot just high over the mask of Graf. GW still working with ease. A cross-ice feed through the seam. They work it down low. That was Dennis Smikov as he's still in control. On the backhand, connects with Redden. Ethan Redden. No one really there for GW, but they remain with it. Here's a beautiful feed for Redden in the slot. Sang tries to get a clear. This is Ethan Molnar around the wall, but reading it well is Laffey. Drops it to the line. Redden, little toe drag, plays it down low. Chambliss able to get the clear with 17 seconds left. Sage Yoke thought about a stretch pass, but instead content to drop it off to Kieran Laffey. Final 6 seconds of the Rubin penalty, and that's Jacob Bergerman. We'll drop it off here. This is Laffey working around Dorcas. Laffey protecting that puck on the backhand. We'll drop it off to Smikov. Works it to the line. Here's a shot, a trickler, and that one able to be covered by Ryan Graf. GW with a couple shots on goal on that man advantage. These shots now read 23-15. Face-off coming up to the left of Graf. Here's a shot from the right point. And Greg Steckel looks to break it out with Sawyer Howe. That one just behind Jack Golick. That pass was from behind the red line, and so an icing on Tech here. Face-off coming right back to their defensive zone. The top line for Tech out there. Cullen Dorcas, the center, taking the draw against Riley Pierce-Simone. Again, George Washington's leading point and goal scorer coming into this one with 23 points in 9 games played. Here's Simone, gets it back, drops it off to Joe Hecht. And that's Sawyer Howe looking for the clear. Rims it around the wall. Greg Steckel there. As he takes a hit, Howe kicks it to himself, Pierce-Simone. And now, Levi Miller. Kicking it to himself is Nick Tangretti. Coming away with it, though, was Levi Miller. Tech backhands it into neutral ice with Thomas Banaka. Takes a big hit from Sawyer Howe into his own bench. There's a stoppage here momentarily. Face off in the neutral zone. Now, I wasn't too sure, but I think I might have convinced myself that the referee made a hand pass motion. I don't really know, but regardless, play resumes in neutral ice. Opportunity for Dennis Smikov. He draws a penalty, and George Washington, I believe, heading back to the power play. They will get Greg Steckel. So again, George Washington only down by 1 here with 7:25 left in the middle frame. Big opportunity to tie this one again. Let's see what they're able to do. draw coming up to the right of Graf. This one won by the Revolutionaries, in control of Piersimoni. We'll sauce it over to Redden here. Here's a shot, went just wide. That one too far for Piersimoni to get to. And he will regroup from his own end. Drops it off for Ethan Redden. Gets it back to Piersimoni now. Top of the right circle. Graf got a piece of that one to deflect it out of play. Take a look at that opportunity for the Revolutionaries. Beautiful rush there. Nice pass to Piersimoni. And I believe Ryan Graf got just enough of that one to deflect it out of play. It's like they did not give them the shot on goal here at the rink. But Ethan Redden feeds it down low. Tight angle. Had some room there up high. Dennis Smikov just elevated that puck a bit too high. And so the chance is negated, and a face-off coming up to the left of Graf. .6:49 left in the period. There's a clear. We look at the other rink. Looks like somebody just scored, and that was the eruption. There's some game going on that's 2-1. The teams are listed as the ones from last game. Anyways, there was a good cross-ice feed. Was looking for a tip in front, and it's Redden. Drops it off here. A cross-ice feed left circle through the seam. Redden lets it go, and it went just wide as he's looking for the hat trick. So this is going to be Sage Yoke dropping it off to his defenseman here. And a cross-ice feed, it connects with Smikov. Well, think about dropping it off, and he does to Redden at the right circle. He'll curl back. Looks to feed it here to, Jervis. As Jack Golick tries to dig it free, it's Jervis instead. Takes a hit from Joshua Lee, but he'll stay with it. Throws it in front, no one home for GW, and it's Kieran Laffey. Lets one go, big block in front by Douglas Umberto. Gets enough of that one to play it into neutral ice, as it's Redden backhanding it across and advancing it forwards for one more rush on the power play. High slot shot, Piersimoni, now a chance, pad stop, rebound available in front. The power play has expired here, and cutting it back is Ethan Redden. Looks to play it in front, Jorkus blocked that one, and skating it the other way is Sawyer Howe. Now we have a whistle at this rink. There's a weird situation with both games being stopped around the same time. Looks like Piersimoni heading to the box. Another power play coming up, this time for Georgia Tech. Or maybe not. Maybe we'll skate for a side, as they're getting Jack Golick in the box as well. So a 4-on-4 situation here. First of the night. .23-17 in terms of shots in favor of the Jackets. They also lead where it matters most, 3-2. 5 minutes remain in the middle frame. We'll adjust that accordingly. They drop it off, it's Sawyer Howe. Beautiful deep backhand shot stopped by Yoke. Jorkus with a chance in the slot, leaves it with King. There's a chance just over the goal. I don't think Yoke was ready for that one, as he was immobilized in the butterfly position. Jorkus showing off the mitts on the backhand, staying with that one, as he regroups top of the zone, moves it over to Andrew Zhang. Chips it to Howe, backhands it to the right point as Dorcas is there. Now King thought about a shot, plays it across towards Howe, and back with Dorcas. Dorcas gonna creep his way towards the net, has a lane, elects to use it, and a good stop made by Yoke. Howe gets it across, Cullen Dorcas shot blocked, and GW moves it ahead to Jacob Bergerman. He's content to just get a line change, and so he'll chip it into that offensive zone, forces Braden King to make a play. Hops over the GW stick here, and skating with this one is Kieran Laffey. Laffey, as he looks to drive the net, stays with it on his backhand, feeds it to the line with Tangretti. Shot kicked aside by Graf. GW gets it back with Banaka. There's a big hit as Zhang looks to corral it, gets it forwards. 23 seconds of 4-on-4 remain. Reddy lost the handle on that one. Or excuse me, Redden. 1-on-2 battle, plays it ahead. Andrew Zhang backhands it to himself. Good pressure there from Laffey. Instead, though, Tech with an opportunity to regroup. 5-on-5 time over. And this is Sawyer Howe. Nice path to the net. Big stop by Yoke. He's got it covered. .303 remaining here in the second period, as you see that most recent chance from Sawyer Howe. A nice lane to the net, but a good stop made there by number 31. Tie up off the draw, it's Pierce Simone around it, goes towards Tally Jervis. Shot sticked aside by Yoke, right back in front, and a nice pad stop made by Yoke. Little bit of a baseball batting down attempt situation there, as this is Sawyer Von Jess. 2:40 remaining in the middle frame. That stretch pass does not connect, and it's Levi Miller. Around, Justin Yu gets it to the blue line. There's a big hit laid by Ethan Molnar, as Yoke gonna stick handle with that puck. Look to move it there towards McNamara. One back for Tech by Molnar. Give and go. Molnar off the iron and score! Ethan Molnar extends Tech's lead to 2. Nice look. Molnar won that puck back for Tech. A beautiful pass to him from Sean Connolly. Takes the shot off the iron, but sticks with the rebound to deposit it into that open net. Georgia Tech leads by 2. 31-18 in terms of shots. GW now trails a multi-goal deficit for the first time here today. Georgia Tech tapping that one in deep with Degliumberto. Thomas Banaka, as Degliumberto harasses him there at the right point. Lee keeps it in and gets it in deep, forces Tangretti to make a play. Dishes it over to Rich, as it's Degliumberto at the left point collecting it. Zach Keschner looks to win it, swats it over to Goodell, looks for the centering feed. Almost worked out, but instead it goes all the way down. McLean Boyd gets to it. Icing called on GW. One minute, 21 seconds remain. Shots on goal, 31-18 still. 4-2 advantage for Tech in terms of goals. BW gets that puck ahead. Joshua Lee settles it down. Golick had Dorcas for a second. Now he'll get it to him. Colin Dorcas drags that one, drops it to the line. Boyd connects ultimately with Sawyer Howe. Howe, couple of dekes into neutral ice. Here's a big chance moving it the other way. It's Dennis Smikov. And a whistle blown. Looks like Sawyer Von Jess in the box for GW. Maybe something, was that behind the play there?
Yeah, looks like it. I thought the whistle was blown for.
The other one?
Yeah,
That's
the
what I
defenseman
thought
for Georgia
too.
Tech.
I was a bit confused. I didn't see anything really going on. Didn't see an arm up. But no, Georgia Tech will be heading on the power play. As we'll say, there's a penalty behind the play. Let's see what Tech can do to end the second period. Jorkus drops it off Boyd through traffic, gobbled up and held by Yoke.
Some extracurriculars. You know, Jack Golick likes to crash the net.
He is a very physical player. Right now playing down low on the power play, but he said there was no ill will there, as he just had his arms up, just making a hockey play. And looks like, I guess the original penalty was on Asher Fabes. Now Vaughn just to the box, as the refs were not happy with his response there. So 5-on-3 for Tech. McLean Boyd dishes it. Sawyer Howe has some room, gets it back to Boyd. Howe, give and go to Boyd, takes a shot. Big pad save made by Yoke. 30 seconds left in the period. Howe drops it off to the goal line with Golick. Across, one-timer goes just wide, and another save made. That one blocked in front. Cullen Dorcas with 20. Now Sawyer Howe lets it go, a big block. And McLean Boyd stays with it. Final 10. Boyd drops it off Molnar. Looking across Howe. Boyd one-timer. Trickles just wide. One last chance towards Dorcas. The second period will end just like that. But another minute and 4 seconds of 5-on-3 time coming up. Thank you all so much for tuning in here today. Third period, 2-goal game coming up. It's going to be a good one. Don't go anywhere here at the ACC Fall Classic. Welcome back to Georgia Tech vs. George Washington University at the ACC Fall Classic here in fall 2025. Georgia Tech leads GWU 4-2 after 2. We saw a shorthanded goal from AJ Degliumberto, Georgia Tech's captain, in that second period. For GW, it would be their captain in Ethan Redden to respond with his second of the night, but Georgia Tech would get a couple of finishes from Zach Keschner and then Ethan Molnar to bring it to a 2-goal lead. Right now, they have 1 minute, 4 seconds of 5-on-3 time to start this third period. A huge opportunity to extend the lead. We'll see if they're able to capitalize. Puck down, period 3 is a go, and it starts with Sawyer Howe crossing the red line and now blue. Drops it off over a bit too far for Golick, killing off valuable time of this 5-on-3, but Dorcas right back in there. At the half wall, cross-ice feed through the seam to Howe. Now McLean Boyd looks, this is Dorcas again for Howe, and we were just talking about they're really looking for that cross-ice feed to number 87. Boyd gets a Dorcas, tight angle shot stopped by Yoke. And now Howe gets it back to McLean Boyd. Walks in and a shot stopped by Yoke. And he'll hold on to that one. Shots listed as 35-18 here. So you could see a nice save from the goaltender Yoke. Another stop made as well. .1908 left in the third period. That's Molnar down low, connects with Dorcas, just 5 seconds left of 5-on-3. They get it across, works it back. There's a shot, and scooping it up is Yoke. There's the man, Asher Fabes, out of the box, and so just 9 seconds left of Georgia Tech power play time. Now 5-on-4.
Levi Miller comes on to replace Ethan Molnar.
Oh, interesting development. But unfortunately for Tech, that face-off win ends up in their own zone, and so that'll do it for the power play. George Washington kills off a huge couple of penalties there, keeping it a 2-goal game for now. Howe shot just wide and high over the blocker of Yoke. They get it back with Cullen Dorcas. There's a little toe drag. Miller keeps it in, save made Yoke. Rebound hops over the stick of Dorcas. Steckel around the wall. Sawyer Howe is there, getting battled by Asher Fabes. Howe looks to win it back. Lost control momentarily as Steckel gets it over to Howe. Howe will pick up that loose puck and look for an option. He'll eventually find Cullen Dorcas as he looks to the goal line. Backdoor and a great save made by Yoke. A phenomenal blocker stop. Levi Miller chips it in deep. As the referee got in the way of that one, they try to wrap it around with Golick. Yoke was able to get back to that post, and a shot deflected wide. Steckel blocked down by Yoke, and Dorcas in control. Another great shift for this Tech top line. Hill backhanded it over. Miller, big save, Yoke. Golick to Dorcas, just wide as it was deflected. George Washington looking to spring their man in Pierce Simone. The pass did not work out as Keschner goes down. There's no whistle there. Levi Miller back on it. Miller, beautiful toe drag on the backhand, looking for someone in front. The rebound stop. Another one deflected wide as Miller will connect with Keegan Goodell. Walks into one and a stop by Yoke. George Washington gets the clear. Goodell back on it, over to Greg Steckel. Enters the offensive zone, looks for a lane, threw it in front. Good defensive work there made by Fabes. Now Zach Keschner back on it for the Jackets. This one off the side of the goal, not off the glass, over the glass, and so a stoppage of play. Face-off coming up in GW's defensive zone. Daniel, what a start to this third period for this Georgia Tech offense.
Yeah.
Anything in particular, any players who have impressed you so far?
Sawyer Howe had a lot of looks on the 5-on-3 on the far side there. As we said, the Georgia Tech power play has been trying to feed him a lot in these recent games. But a couple good looks for him. Unfortunate that they did not score on that power play.
Well, let's see if they're able to right here, as they've been just hemming George Washington into their own zone as they look for another clear, but Aiden Roy keeps it in. Kashner looked for the give and go. GW back on it. That was Dennis Smekov dropping it off here to Ethan Reddy. Smekov back on it, 1-on-3. Looks to backhand it in deep. Instead, Degliamberto will pick it up and chip it into Tech's own bench. So both teams just clear the puck out of play early in this third period. 15:55 left in regulation time. Shots on goal listed 46-18 in favor of the Jackets. Despite that disparity, it's still a 2-goal game here in the third period. George Washington hanging in there. They have a face-off in their offensive zone. Let's see if Pierce Simone's able to win it, and he does, but Von just walked back and didn't hold the line. Justin Yu has a lane. The backhand doesn't get a shot off. They work it to the line. George Washington looking to spring. Pierce Simone could not. And Tech will chip it right back with Sawyer Von Jess. Von Jess connecting here to Tally Jervis. Across it goes, and the Revolutionaries want to put it in their ozone. Here's Simone back on it, stripped though, and it's Braden King back the other way. Ethan Molnar leaves it with King, and he'll flip it on goal. That one shoved to the side by Sage Yoke, and back on it is Sawyer Von Jess. Von Jess looks to make a play off the wall now. Aiden Roy, his shot blocked, and it's Lee. That one sticked aside by Yoke. And back the other way for the Revs is Kieran Laffey. Turned it over. Sean Connolly has Molnar to his right. Eventually got it across the ice. Now Lee's shot with traffic in front. Blocked in front by his own man. Pierce Simone cuts it back, works around Lee. There's a shot. Glove save made by Ryan Graff. 47-19, the shots on goal here in the third period. For GW, you need to keep getting pressure in the O-zone, testing Ryan Graff. You've been able to beat him 2 times already, despite not reaching the 20-goal mark. So more pucks on net if you're the Revs. There's a backhand feed into the slot. Tech looking to break it out from their own end, but holding the line there was Gregor Von Rohr. Excuse me, that was Nick Tangretti. As a man goes down, one-on-one battle here. Pranay Prasanna for Tech. And looks like Tarek Ginkinger for the Revs. Boyd flips it out, and that will force Thomas Banaka to glove it down and regain entry. Banaka battled by Joshua Lee here, as it's going to be played into the high slot. A bit too hard for Tangretti to handle, and it's Andy Hildrum off to the races with the lane, and a stick save made by Sage Yoke. Revolutionaries pushing it on the counterattack. A little toe drag from Smekov there, and a nice hit cutting off the angle by McLean Boyd. GW applying the pressure, forces Prasanna to dish it to McLean Boyd, the defenseman leading the rush. Tried to weave through all the GW players, and so back on it is Ethan Redden. Redden slot shot deflected high over the net of Graff into the protective netting. So a face-off coming up in the GT defensive zone. Tech about to hit 50 shots on goal. They did it in both games against the Citadel, did it last night against Princeton. 48 shots on the net of Yoke thus far. Face-off coming up to the right of Graf. GW able to win it with Asher Fabes turned over to Colin Dorcas as Tech could have an odd man rush. Dorcas looking for Howe, broken up well by Asher Fabes. Tech looking to work it to the line. GW back the other way. Holding the line is Greg Steckel. Nice poke check. Jack Golick with the lane. Dropped it off and a great save made by Yoke on Sawyer Howe. We've been talking about him all day. Again, the 5-goal performance yesterday. Phenomenal stop sliding left to right by Yoke there, denying the opportunity. So a draw coming up to his right. Colin Dorcas wins it for Tech. At the line, they get it across with Sawyer Howe. Looks to cut it back, instead turns it over to Riley Pierce-Simone. Sawyer Howe back on it, looking for a pass, and stepping up there, the GW defenseman. Winning it back for his team is Tally Jervis. Pierce-Simone, blocker down, they kick it on goal. Second time that's happened today. Graf made the pad save there. Pierce-Simone collects. Look to play it down low. Tech on the counter-attack, springing Jack Golick. But good defensive work by Nevin McNamara. They work it to the line. That one's going to be Joe Hecht rimming it around the wall. Greg Steckel there for GT. Howe works it towards Dorcas. And a delayed offside and some extracurricular activity just for a brief moment. 49-20, your shots on goal, but like I just said a few minutes ago, despite that, if you're GW, it's a 2-goal game right now. Can't let the shots on goal affect you too much. All it takes is one to make it a 1-goal game. And then you never know what might happen from there. You have a brief stoppage here, but looks like we're set to resume play. That's AJ Degliamberto taking the draw for Tech, his counterpart, Jacob Bergerman. Tegan Goodell looks to move it ahead, banks it off the wall here, around the wall, it gets right back to Degliamberto, and now Kushner. Teschner comes away with that one, goes down, feeds Aiden Roy, across Andrew Zhang, lets it go, and seeing it the whole way and covering up was Sage Yoke. So that's gonna officially do it for the 50th shot on goal by the Yellow Jackets. Really just peppering Yoke here, especially in this third period. They've continued to do the same. Let's see how the Revs are able to answer, as that's Ethan Redden. Redden gets it over to Laffey. Laffey looking for a lane, the centering pass broken up by Andrew Zay. Back into the GW defensive zone with Asher Fabes, connecting with Ethan Redden, toe drag around Zach Keschner. Redden lost control. Back with Von Jess, opportunity 2-on-1 for Tech. Degliamberto has Goodell, gets it across Goodell, back for Degliamberto, that one off the side of the net. Or perhaps the goalpost, but now a 2-on-1 for GW. Chance on the right circle, beautiful read from Joshua Lee, preventing Dennis Smikov from taking a shot. Ends up in the defensive zone of GW. And on this puck is Thomas Banaka. Gets it back over to Tally Jervis. Some pressure from Sean Connolly there. Banaka looks to hit Laffey now as they get it out from their own end. Ethan Molinar tries to weave his way through. Nick Tangretti prevented that from happening. So played around the boards, and it's Joshua Lee. One back, tight angle shot went just wide there from Hecht. They put it back on goal. Another stop and a centering feed. Tech getting a little lackadaisical in their own defensive zone. Here's a drive from the line, deflected on goal. Graf makes the stop, and they'll pick it up with Connolly and chipping it ahead to Ethan Molnar. Yu wants to join the rush. Molnar on the backhand here, behind the net. Justin Yu thought about a shot. They backhand it with Connolly just wide. And a chance for the Revs to clear. Backhand feed, no one really there, but fresh off the bench. Here's a chance with Rich. That one, nothing really doing. A big turnover towards the left circle, but Ginkinger cannot handle that one. Here Simone backhands it into that far corner. And Joshua Lee, D-to-D feed with McLean Boyd. Lee back on it, gets it back to Boyd here. Up ahead to Eli. Rubin takes a big hit from Sawyer Von Jess. Boyd gets it back to Leah, now Andy Hildrum. Turned over and Rich back on it. Up ahead, all the way down the ice, an icing call there on the Revolutionaries, and this one coming back 200 feet. Couple good looks in that recent shift for the Revolutionaries, but still it remains a 2-goal game. 22 shots on goal for them. Ryan Graff, 20 saves made thus far. Hildrum off the draw, his shot blocked. Greg Steckel at the right point was looking for a deflection. Eli Rubin on the backhand, into the slot. Chambliss goes down, and GW able to chip it out thanks to Thomas Banaka. Levi Miller, there's some pressure from Jacob Bergerman. Attack able to break it out from their own zone, back into neutral ice with Reddit. Sawyer Von Jess has a bit of a lane, looking to test Graff from the red line. Graff easily steers that into the corner. They look to glove it down, but cannot with Ginkinger. And so that one is going to be Levi Miller. George Washington University looking for the clear. Jack Golick re-enters for Tech. And that one is cleared by Kieran Laffey. A backhand feed over to Greg Steckel here at the red line. That one went off of Nevin McNamara. And an outlet pass to Ethan Redden. A backhand saucer feed over to Dennis Smekov. Smekov's backhand, Jack Golick, the only skater there for either team, as he'll get it in deep to the right of Yoke. Golick gets his own dump in, and right back on it for GW is Kieran Laffey, looking to work to Dennis Smekov. Smekov tries to deke around Levi Miller. Instead, it's Cullen Dorcas and now Sawyer Howe. Jack Golick crosses the blue. GW will pick it up, and back on it is Smekov. Looking to spring Piersimoni, the pass connects on the backhand, a good defensive read by Greg Steckel. Zhang cuts it back off the end wall, too far for Steckel, and they'll sling it on goal there with Joe Hecht. Graff deflects that one out of play. Face-off coming up here to his left. 6:58 remaining in regulation time. Make it the 23rd shot on goal for GW. AJ Degliumberto against Riley Piersimoni. A shot from the line, big rebound in front. They cannot pull the trigger with Piersimoni. And now it's Andrew Zhang. Connects beautifully with Keegan Goodell as he rims it around the wall, forces Yoke to pass that puck around. Looks like we have a delayed penalty here. Were you able to catch what that one was?
Might have been the hit on Keegan Goodell.
Looks like for the second time tonight, Sawyer Von Jess back in the box. And so an opportunity.
That was the penalty.
I don't know what that.
That's what the ref did.
But for Georgia Tech, 6:39 to go. You are up by 2 goals, a power play goal, and you feel really, really good about yourselves. So let's see if they can make it happen. Levi Miller at the right point, walks the line, connects near side. Degliumberto, big rebound available. They try to jam it home and they score! Of course, that was a chaotic sequence there, and so they were saying they did not put that one in, I guess, in accordance with the rules. Not sure if we caught the signal, but maybe they said deflected it in with the hand, pushing it in. Hard to see as it was on the other side. So no power play goal, 1:48 remaining on the power play. And 6:27 left in the frame. So as a result of that, we'll have the draw at neutral ice. Still taking a little bit of time to get things going. Perhaps one of the teams just called a timeout. Of course, as we just said, for Georgia Tech, a power play goal really starts to ice the game, and so pivotal situation for both of these teams, especially the Revs. You cannot give up one here. They have reached 24 shots on goal in comparison with Tech's 52. But 6:27 left. Daniel, general thoughts. How we doing?
Pretty good. I'd say GW should keep trying to move it quickly through the neutral zone. They've seen some success with their first 2 goals like that. As for Tech, just try to lock it down here, capitalize on this power play, and ice the game.
Yeah, let's see if they're able to do it. I guess the reason for the stoppage looks like there's something with the ice just to the top right of the crease. Yeah, the linesman looking to fix the issue. So no timeout, I guess, called by either team. Thank you all so much for joining us here at the ACC Fall Classic here at the St. James. Lots of more games here today on aauplus.org, all the way through a 10 o'clock and 10:15 time slot. And then tomorrow morning, 7:15, this Georgia Tech team opens the action, taking on UNC Charlotte. They just had a very exciting game against UVA, winning it in the shootout 1-0. We'll be sure to talk about that one on tomorrow's broadcast. Just like last night, that one gonna be a partnership with Virginia Tech Hockey Network. Thank you guys for welcoming us here this weekend. And thank you, of course, to the ACC and the commissioner for having us out here. Joshua Lee with 1:30 remaining on the power play. Gets to the goal line, stops, Zach Keschner. Now Justin Yu. To the line, Levi Miller. Looks for a lane, takes a shot, deflected out of play. And 1:17 remain on the power play. Face-off coming up to the right of Yoke. Degliumberto for Georgia Tech winning this draw. Levi Miller has Justin Yu to his right, elects to hit up Degliumberto to his left. Miller steps into one, punched out by Sage Yoke. Tech still in control. That's Joshua Lee. Across to Yu, back out top of the zone. Miller, a beautiful cross-ice feed. Couldn't hold the handle as Justin Yu. Miller thinks about a shot. That one went just wide, as it's a chance with Degliumberto. Yu at the right point. His shot sailed wide there, and Levi Miller back on it. They work it to Zach Keschner behind the goal line, and Joshua Lee. Justin Yu Across for Miller, gets it back to you right side. Whiffed on the pass, opportunity to clear for George Washington, and they do with Tally Jervis. Yu taps that one into the zone. George Washington gets it 200 feet to the right of Ryan Graff, and Aiden Roy gets there for tap. Now Joshua Lee. And this one is Justin Yu. Across it goes to Aiden Roy. 5-on-5 now. And so it's now or never for the Revs. You gotta start making a push here, getting some offensive zone time and testing Ryan Graff. Roy off the wall. That one is Justin Yu. Back in control of the Reds and Tarek Ginkinger. GW gets the line change. That pass a bit too far, goes all the way down the ice. And now you have a prime opportunity, win a face-off, and you're already in the offensive zone. Let's see if the Revs are able to do just that. Of course, as we've said, Ethan Redden, their captain, came into tonight with 9 goals, 8 assists, 9 games played, 8 goals, 7 assists, 15 points. He's still on Hattie watch here in this one. They did not win that draw, though, and so they're going to be forced to regain entry. Dennis Smekov looking to connect with Sawyer Von Jess. Aiden Roy back on it for Tech. Roy up ahead, Keegan Goodell taps it all the way down the ice. That one was from behind the red line, and so another icing on Georgia Tech. 3:47 left in the third. And just wanted to say, we talked about all of the good games coming up here at the St. James. But for any Georgia Tech fans watching, this one ends at quite a nice time with the football squad taking on Boston College at 3:30 in 15 minutes. So a fun, really fun day of Georgia Tech sports. Let's see if GW able to get back on the board. Ethan Molnar for Sawyer Howe, and now Braden King. And if you're Georgia Tech, you're just happy to kill the clock at this point, given you're up by 2. King looking for offense, though. That shot stopped with the stick of Yoke. And now Ethan Redden. Up ahead, this one past Aiden Roy. Braden King will collect with 3 minutes exactly remaining in the period. GW gets it back. There's a nice hit, as it was Tally Jervis looking to keep it in, but cannot. Jack Golick wins it back for Tech, drops it off to Dorcas. Look to hit Golick, but a nice stick check there from Tally Jervis, breaking it up. King around for Sawyer Howe, looking back for Golick here, and now Dorcas. This one is played by Tally Jervis as he looks to break it ahead. That one too far for Piersimoni, and an icing coming up on the Revolutionaries. 53-24, your shots on goal thus far as we approach the final 2 minutes of regulation time. Looks like now GW will elect to take that timeout. I suspect maybe it's around time to consider pulling your goaltender if you're the Revs. Get that top line out there, see what you can do. Really need more pucks on net, more time in that offensive zone. We'll see if they're able to do it. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. After this one's over, if you elect to continue watching the ACC Fall Classic, which you definitely should, going on at the other rink, we have Appalachian State taking on, like I said in the first period, they haven't updated the scoreboard, and I just fell for it. So there you go. You actually have the University of Maryland. I can't quite tell who that opponent is. They've got some white jerseys with turquoise trim. There's no logo, but instead a word mark on the jersey. I guess the only way to find out is by watching the game. So go tune in after this one's over, as they have 12 minutes left in their second period, tied at 3. But for now, we're here. Georgia Tech, George Washington, 2:25 left in the third. Cullen Dorcas, huge face-off. He wins it. Levi Miller through traffic, deflected just wide. And a chance to break it out with Tally Jervis. Back on goal as Golick was in front. A pad stop made by Yoke. GW looking to just rim it around the wall. And here's Pierce Simone, now here's Pierce Simone. Graf got enough of that one with the glove to deflect it aside. Levi Miller behind his own net, looking for Steckel, turned it over right in the slot. A big opportunity for Joe Heck. Jack Golick off to the races, has Levi Miller, got it across, but a good stick check from Asher Fabes, breaking it up. They look for a home run pass there. Now, if you're gonna pull your goaltender, you need some time in the offensive zone. Let's see if they're able to get some here, as it's Dennis Smekov. Turned it over to Golick here, cuts it back, hits Sawyer Howe. Left circle, lost the handle. Jorkis for Golick, big rebound available. Yoke gets it covered, and George Washington not happy about Howe digging for that puck. I do happen to think for a brief moment that that puck was free before Yoke could cover up the rebound. So I think no harm intent from Howe. But of course, gotta protect your goaltender, and that's exactly what GW did right there. 55-25 shots on goal as we approach the final minute mark. Just 1:18 remaining here in the third. They're actually gonna move this face-off into neutral ice. I'm not sure what the reason for that one is. Any idea on that?
No clue.
Regardless, Tech wins it, and Joshua Lee gets it right back in there. Von Jess gets it around to his partner. Pass broken up by Zach Keschner, and Ethan Redden looks to get it out. Oh, here's a good look for Dennis Smekov as Von Jess driving, as now the goaltender heads to the bench. Extra attacker on for GW. Here's a shot, big rebound available, and Graf has it as well in the glove. What a chance there, and a huge couple of saves for the Georgia Tech netminder. $55-27 now, shots on goal. Looks like some of the Revolutionary players having a discussion with the referee. And just like the last play, the face-off's heading into the neutral zone. George Washington will elect to keep their goaltender on the bench. They have just 50 seconds to get to 50-50 puck. Ends up in Tech's control. That one goes all the way down the ice. Ethan Molnar wins that race, negating the icing. But back on it is Dennis Smekov. It's do or die for George Washington. Ethan Redden takes a big hit from Joshua Lee. Zach Keschner looking towards the empty net, but it's Riley Pierce-Simone. McLean Boyd gets a clear. Redden bats it down with 20 seconds left. They look to regroup for maybe one last chance. This one is played by Joshua Lee in the final 10. Off the end wall, they look to get it back with Dennis Smekov. A chance for the empty net with 5. McLean Boyd will deposit it. Time has expired as well. And in year one of Georgia Tech's participation in the ACC, they start their first ever Fall Classic 2 wins, 0 defeats. Solid performance from both of these teams. What did you make of the effort here tonight, or today, Daniel?
Very solid effort from Georgia Tech. Going into this game, I know there was a lot of chatter in the locker room about how GW could be a potentially very good team. I think they handled the pressure very well here.
Yeah, definitely. Tech took down Princeton 10-4 yesterday. This is a GW team that beat Princeton 20-3 earlier in the season. But as we just saw, the transitive property, well, I guess this is not the transitive property. You know, that's such a big thing that's talked about with college football that I'm just used to that now. But just because one team beats up on another way more than another, I guess, does not mean they're going to beat said team. And as you see it here today, it's Georgia Tech who comes away with a 5-2 win. Thank you all so much for joining us here. Thank you, Daniel, for joining me. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, had a lot of fun.
Well, thank you so much. Stay tuned for the rest of day 2 of the Fall Classic. Georgia Tech takes this one 5-2.